This week on What Do You Got? Movie fight scenes. Do they need to be realistic?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Kinda. Depending.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to What Do You Got on the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
I'm Tim Fulton.
So, Tim's topic is this week.
Movie fight scenes and how unrealistic they are. Does it matter? Does it not matter? What is the line?
All right.
I bring this up, and I will not spoil this, but you and I have watched at least most of the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It starts off with a fight scene that I will not go into detail about because it's new, but it was a little bit on the this can never actually happen side. But
Yeah.
it was kind of awesome at the same time.
Yeah, you know, there's a couple trains of thought with this. I'm kind of a movie buff, so I have several different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
When you're going into it, I think that if you want to fully enjoy the movie, you have to just put all that, put it all aside. If you just want to thoroughly enjoy the movie, just accept that this is reality. That's what they do. It's like watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
If you sit there looking at it like a realist, you're like, ugh, I can't fly. No shit.
Bro standing on a leaf.
Yeah, bro standing on a leaf. Doesn't happen. But there is kind of like an art to that movie where that's the style that they're shooting it in and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But some things are just hard to ignore. And I think it also matters on the type of movie that they're trying to be. So like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that is that kind of a movie. If the movie is trying to be really realistic and they do funky shit, that's when you go like,
Because they set the tone early. So if you're doing like, all right, actions have consequences, just like real life, and then you have like some guy like dodging bullets like he's fucking Neo in the Matrix, you're going to be like, all right, well, maybe not. But then you get to the Matrix and you're like, all right, that's the standard. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But you're right. There are certain movies out there that you're watching. You're just like, no, man. Like, no.
And
stop.
I do suspend.
Get shot.
I do suspend the belief during superhero movies.
Yeah.
But the problem with like Falcon from some of the Avengers movies, where if you really want to get shitty and pull it apart, you're like, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy. And like I was saying, he could come in flying at 70 miles an hour and drop kick somebody through a building, but he's got a human knee. He didn't take the serum. He doesn't have the Iron Man suit. I don't know why. He should.
He should.
He's got a discount version of the Iron Man suit. It's way shittier. Iron Man had 47 of them just flying around doing shit in the one movie. He couldn't just give one to him. Just make it, paint it a color that looks stupid so he's not as cool. I don't know.
The pink one.
Yeah, just give him the pink one. Make him a Power Ranger.
He's allowed an Iron Man outfit, but it plays the Power Ranger theme song the entire time.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there like, oh.
Which is one of the things that I really, really liked about Batman 3. Now, it ended up going the other way for me during the movie, because in the beginning, Batman's all fucked up. And I was like, holy shit. Like, that's exactly what would happen to you if you lived that kind of a life. You'd get fucked up.
Yeah.
But then he, like, put that knee brace on, and I was like, all right, well, you probably should have just done that the whole time, because then you wouldn't need the cane. But then he, like, kicked through a concrete wall, and I was like, your foot's still your foot. It's going to break.
Yeah.
But and then he got his back healed by somebody punching it. But anyway, I digress. So I think it does have to do with how serious the movie is taking itself for that. And again, superhero movies, there's literally gods in this making jokes about a raccoon being a rabbit. So we can't really complain about the fight scenes too much.
Yeah.
But when there's one of my favorite Steven Seagal movies is one of the later ones, and I've only seen this clip. He's fighting a professional UFC fighter, and Steven Seagal's grossly out of shape now. But he's still wearing the tack vest with the SWAT gear, and they're fighting and doing all the keto shit, and they end up going over a balcony that's like 20 feet, and they both land like on their side or their back, and they both just get up. Like, you might be able to get up. He ain't getting up. He weighs 330 pounds. He's hitting that floor like a missile, and his organs are done. But again, they made the scene memorable, but not for the reason they were going for. But yeah, and it does make you appreciate when certain fight scenes are done
super
well, or at least where you're like, that guy at least actually did that. Like John Wick had 65 kills in that movie, and 64.5 were headshots. But it was him doing everything.
Yeah.
So you were like, I probably wouldn't play out like that, but
you made it believable.
He did it. And there's not too many times in that movie where you're like, that's total bullshit. You're kind of like, he'd have to be really, really lucky. But he could do it. It's John Wick. Yeah.
See, that's the difference. You can look at things and be like, but he's John Wick.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. My biggest thing with that, which is why I say when you go into the movie, you have to go into it with certain expectations, because the worst thing for me is when a scene pulls you out of the movie.
Yeah.
So if you go in it like, I'm gonna see what I see in the UFC, like that's gonna pull you out of the movie. You have to go in there like, all right, they're gonna do some cool superhero shit.
Yeah.
But when you're watching, if the movie's more serious and they do shit, like one of the biggest ones, and I give it a break, is in Goodfellas. There's a scene when Henry Hill pistol whips a guy that was trying to basically rape his wife, and it's the worst pistol whip of all time. So, but you're kind of like, that was the one scene where I was like, that's not real. That's not real at all. But the rest of the scene is so good, it kind of makes up for it. But
you kind of give it a pass. Part of the fun for me, and this is especially true for the Marvel movies, because you don't take them too seriously.
You have an open mind.
Their comic books come to life.
Yeah.
It's just ripping them apart with friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I showed you that one scene in Falcon, and you and I were just sitting there the entire time going, what?
And it's almost like you have to have the certain company to do that in, because you feel so shitty when you're doing it. Like, I felt bad doing it because I'm that old grumpy guy picking apart movies.
But that's the fun that we had with it.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's how we made it enjoyable.
But it
was fun at the same time. I don't know.
It is funny though, because when they were in the Marvel movies, there was none of that, because you just watched Thor come out of the sky with lightning, and you're like, so who cares if Falcon would have, distended his kneecap with that kick?
It's funny because it's all the Marvel universe, but you're right, because like we were saying, the whole setting a standard. WandaVision, spoilers for WandaVision just finished wrapping up. Neither one of us is talking about witches flying through the air, shooting bolts of whatever at each other. We're just all right, this is what's true for this movie. We're good with this.
Yeah, but that's the point. That is the point, right? Because that's a witch. You're like, that's what she does. That's the reality of her reality. Yeah. Because Falcon's just a guy, you're like, he's still just a guy.
You know what? If she started running around kicking people and throwing nasty punches, we would have had the same reaction. We would have been like, wait, no.
Yeah, you're a witch.
You're a witch.
Use your power.
Yeah.
But the reason why I like Iron Man is because I don't think that there's one scene where they turn him into some kind of crazy superhero.
Yeah.
He has to be in the suit.
He has to be in the suit.
Or he's not. He's just a guy.
I was rewatching something. There was one where he did something. Oh, it's going to bother me because I just rewatched something. And it wasn't him being a cool, badass, I'm a ninja type shit. It was him being I'm smarter than everyone else and I played this well kind of thing. I shot a guy in the back while he wasn't looking, and I set this whole scene up kind of thing. Oh, it's going to bother me so bad.
Is it a different movie?
No, it's an Iron Man movie.
Oh.
I forget which one.
Okay.
This was
they don't
story ever told.
They don't really deviate from what the characters are.
Yeah. That's my point. They never made him they didn't turn him into Captain America.
Yeah. There was a couple with Black Widow where you're all right, she was trained from childhood. That goes a long way. She's Russian. Another step up. They're different people. They're different white people. So
They're all bears on unicycles.
yeah. So okay, we get those two. And then there's like some scenes where you're like, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. That seems a little much. But I'll let it go because it's Scarlett Johansson.
You know who put it best? Hawkeye. In the second one, in Age of Ultron, he's talking to Scarlet Witch in the building, and she was complaining about something. He's like, hey, look, I'm currently shooting robots with my bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. But we're going to go out there, and we're going to be superheroes. And everyone's just kind of like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. He was another one where they kind of kept him more in the realm of believable. Where it's like, yeah, he's really good with, like, ungodly good with a bow.
The only unbelievable thing about him is how many arrows he has. He's constantly shooting. You look at him at the beginning of the scene, you're like, all right, first off, I can see how many holes are in the back of your quiver.
Yeah.
You got like a good 20 back there.
Yeah.
You've been fighting for like 4 hours. Where are you getting these arrows from, bro?
He's just hiding the whole time. He's just hiding. He only shoots when the camera's around.
Basically, when other people are around, he's like, oh, I gotta do something.
Yeah, I just like I understand that it's a superhero movie, but when you think about it practically, you're just like, yeah, why doesn't everyone have an Iron Man suit? The only two that don't need one is Hulk and Thor.
No, that's a super good point, especially because Tony at the end of the first one was like, we need to like protect the human race because everyone's gonna die.
At the end of the third one, he had them all. He had like 40-something empty ones, and he blew them all up. Spoiler
At the end
alert.
of the third Iron Man.
Yeah, but it's like War Machine still has an Iron Man suit.
Imagine he called it code whatever, fireworks or something like that. At the
Yeah.
end of the third one. Imagine a War Machine's just walking around, just implodes.
Just shit. Forgot about that. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't make, I mean, it makes sense because it's a comic book movie. But when you think about it practically, you're like, yeah, everyone should have an Iron Man suit besides two people. You even make a little one for Rocket.
Yeah. I mean, we're beating up on, even make a little one for Rut. That would be fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Even, we're picking on Marvel, but there's a slew of other movies.
Wait,
Do you know what bothers me?
he gave one to Spider-Man too.
Like a makeshift. It was a spider suit.
He didn't. It was not makeshift. It had 8 legs that popped out of the back that thought what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he did.
So there was some time in that, I would assume. But anyway, what were you saying?
300.
What about it?
The movie?
Yeah.
The entire movie, the plot is true as far as we know. They held that.
Oh, it's definitely has a lot of truth to it.
The Spartans held the line against the Persians from that one pass, and they used that special phalanx formation to do it, basically. In the entire movie, they constantly break line, run out into the little field, have giant fight scenes, and then they're like, no, we won. And you're just like, wait, no, what?
Yeah, that's not what they did.
That's not what...
They stayed there.
And that's not what you talked about. You kicked a guy out, the little evil little troll man thing, because he couldn't hold the shield up. What are you broke your own rule within the first 5 minutes of war.
Yeah. That movie, you know what I thought was cool about that movie?
What?
Which is what some people were like shitting on it for, but there's actually a built-in excuse for it. So the one thing I thought that was really cool about that movie, because normally like when they exaggerate in movies, you're like, come on. Like it just kind of pulls you out.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
But it's basically it's a graphic novel that it was based off of, but you have to look at it in terms of it's being told by a Spartan.
Yeah.
And if you saw an elephant for the first time and you had to describe it in words to somebody, you couldn't like use your hand and be like this high. You had to use your words. Like you would describe it as something that you saw in that movie, probably, if you never saw one before.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a story that's being told. So when you see those elephants that are like 40 feet high, like if someone just happened to walk across one in the woods that had never heard of an elephant before and they saw it, they'd be like, dude, it was as tall as like, you know, like 3 of our houses put together or whatever they lived in.
Actually, that they think that's where unicorns came from. Someone's describing a creature incorrectly. A rhino, a horse-like creature with A big horse-like creature.
How
with
much
a horn.
pot do you have to smoke to think that
Don't
a
forget-
rhino looks like a horse?
Don't forget, like 2,000 years past.
They probably look a lot different.
You could say a big horse-like creature, 4 legs, basic structure, just massive.
Somebody made a meme once, and they were like, "What's more unbelievable? A horse with a horn growing out of its head, or a leopard deer with a 9-foot neck?" A giraffe. I was like, I never thought about it like that. Giraffes are way weirder than a unicorn.
We have so many weird fucking creatures.
They're so much weirder than unicorns when you think about it.
Yo, you want to get bizarre? Just the ocean, freaking
Bro,
bro.
let's just talk for a second about the ocean. Okay?
By the way, we're not talking about movies.
No, we're not talking
anymore.
about this anymore. We're just going to go with this because we're bored. The ocean freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because you're it's like you're in the sky. Like imagine people could fly.
Yeah.
Right? But lions could fly as well.
Imagine people had to fly. Everything has to fly.
No. I'm saying from this is my point as like an option.
Okay.
Right? So you can fly, but there's also lions that are the size of like elephants that can fly, and they can fly so much faster than you.
Yeah.
And they can come out of anywhere. So would you ever go in the sky?
No.
You wouldn't.
No.
Because
Wouldn't leave
at
my
least in the
house.
sky you can see. In the water, you're like, everything looks blue. But if you like put it in sky view, it would just be monsters. Just countless monsters.
Dude, I saw a spider in my bathroom the other day that was this big, and I almost cried. So a giant fucking monster flying through the sky, forget it.
But like, and the thing is with the water though, is that they're so foreign to us. As like, you can look at a cat and you're like, oh, that's like Mr. Fluffy if he was like steroids jacked out of his mind and like just hated me. But there's some element of like, that thing has some feelings in there. Like it wants to. There's like a couple of them in the ocean, like dolphins and killer whales. But as far as everything else, they're just lizards. They're just like these dead-eyed, like, I know one thing. If I can eat you, I will. That's it. And people that like go in the water, then they're like, oh, you're less likely to get attacked by a shark than you are to drive in your car. And you're like, well, there's millions of people that drive every day. There's not that many people going in the ocean every day.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
that number sounds skewed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Let us
got me
know what you
freaked
think
out
about
now.
the ocean in the comments. What do you think about realism in movie fight scenes? Is it important? Is it not important? Do you find it funnier to rip them apart, or do you want to be completely immersed in the experience? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the little bell notification so you get all of our videos. Last but not least, don't forget to go to brodownpro.com to get all your cool bro down gear. We'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.